gotta scoot this way. All right. Yeah, that's centered. All right. There we go.
I love that half of this is going into the intro.
Oh, you did hit go.
Oh, I hit go. You said hit go, so I hit go. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 328. Your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
Apparently, I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, sometimes some Star Trek. All super chats are running the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel, but an even better way to support the channel is head on over to craftcomputing.store, pick up one of our nucleated pint glasses, coasters, whiskey stones, and start drinking like a pro. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to my Discord server, where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there.
Yes, do that.
Whew!
Whew, it's always a mouthful. I am still surprised you have that memorized.
I just can't think about it. If I think about it, I screw it up. So usually I have something in my hand that I'm fidgeting with. This time it was a case screw.
Don't drop the screw. Don't drop the screw.
Don't drop the screw. Don't drop the screw. Oh God! Now the show's
the show. Wait, where was I at? Start over.
Who are you? Where am I? How did I get here?
I'm old and confused.
Oh, it's going to be a good show. We've got the Flipper Zero getting more negative and grossly overblown headlines. Yep. Intel reports a $7 billion operating loss following its $5 billion operating loss of last year. Discord mistakenly
that was funny.
view bots their own April Fool's video. And Tekken really wants to know why Americans want a Waffle House stage.
Wait, what? Why not?
I thought it was obvious, but apparently not.
Apparently, I mean, it is to all the American people.
But let's go ahead and get this show started the only way I know how, and that is, let's finally open a beer.
Yes.
I've got a theme going for tonight. I've got import beers.
Oh, I mean, can I do that? I don't think I only got 2 beers. It's fine.
Yeah, I only have 2, but they're both imports. So
well, I mean, if technically mine are the same style, but you could probably guess which style. So it's like...
well, if I'm imported and you're saying yours are probably the same style, you've got one Belgian.
No, I don't.
Okay. I thought I was gonna nail it.
Oh, no.
I've got a Belgian and I've got a strong ale.
Oh,
so,
both sounded delicious. I did almost grab an ESB.
Yeah,
I did. But then I was like, no.
But John, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm looking over and I still haven't decided. I think
I'll give you a hint. One of mine's in a clay bottle.
Oh, well, are you starting off with that?
That's going to be my second one.
Okay.
So if you want to join me with one of those later on,
I could join you with it. Would I'd just step out for 1 minute and I could grab a bottle of something.
If you would like to do that, let's do that for beer number 2. Okay.
All right. Well, then for beer number 1, I'm going to go with Welderworks Toppling Goliath collaboration. This is their extra Dino Bits.
Dino Bits, nice.
So I believe it's a double IPA. I was looking for the percentage. Usually their double IPAs are right around that 8%.
Very cool. I have. I'm not even sure. Imported by Merchant Devin Corporation in Tacoma, Washington. What's this one? Product of Colville, UK. Okay, it might just be Merchant Devin. Okay. So they might have a US... Oh, no. Brewed by the monks of Mount St. Bernard Abbey.
Oh, an abbey.
United Kingdom. So yeah, an actual monk brewed beer. Tint Meadow or Tint Meadow. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. English Trappist Ale. It's a strong ale brewed by the monks of Mount St. Bernard Abbey in Charnwood Forest. 7.4%. I saw this on the shelf today and I went, of course I have to have that.
How old is that? With traveling over here, Trappist strong ale, that'll be interesting.
Boy, she's thick.
Yeah.
Very, very viscous.
Is there anything on the bottom of the bottle? Just be careful.
Right. No, I've left this upright, and I'm using the shoulders, as you should. So, for those who don't know, beer bottles come with shoulders on beers that you should not, or that might be live fermented or have floaties or yeast still in them. When you're pouring the beer, this will collect the floaties as long as you've let it stabilize like this. And so you pour the beer, but you make it completely flat, and you don't let the floaties float beyond that shoulder. Yes. And so you end up with a very clean pour. This is very, very dark.
That looks dark, but it looks delicious.
Yes.
That head, the nice darker amber head. Oh, yeah. It's nice. So still dark, can see through it, but still
right.
Dark.
Very, very dark. Beautiful color. God, that's pretty. Looks even better in a craft computing pint glass.
I got mine in one.
That's right. Oh. Cheers. And a couple of people already guessed what beer number 2 is going to be, or at least who it's from.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay. What is the percentage? Can I ask that?
7.4.
Oh, okay. So it's not.
Yeah.
No, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not like an 11%.
I was gonna go grab okay, we're doing that now, Jeff.
Beer number 2. Beer number 2, 8.5.
Oh, okay.
It's not a Viking's blood.
Okay. I was like, I got a couple of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll give you a hint. So there you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I
just the blue top. Just the blue top.
Yeah, I already know what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we actually talked about them, I think, the last time I was on.
I think so, yeah. They've come up recently.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who all is drinking along with us in chat tonight? Rev, drinking an Oberon.
Let's see what we've got, yeah.
We've got... And Rev says he had an Nkasi Oats earlier. That's a good one. I've had that one. Let's see. Coffee and Cynicism enjoying a Jackie O's barrel-aged dark apparition Russian Imperial Stout, 11.3. John Jay drinking a Damn by Modest Man Brewing. IPA Double New England Hazy, rating 4.2 out of 5. Novella's got a Widowmaker Brewing Mammoth Hammer Double IPA, 8.1%, and another 4.22 on Untapped. A lot of good beers tonight.
Yeah. Got Williams have Badge Hill Brewing Badge Snack Peanut Butter Stout, 6.3%.
Like nice. A good peanut butter stout?
I've been craving dark beers recently, and they've been harder and harder to find. And
yeah,
I want some dark beers, which is weird. Actually, I think Ninkasi or whatever, they still have their seasonal. I mean, there's the seasonal stuff that's out, or the yearly stuff that's out all the time. But I'm kind of craving just, I don't know, something different than an IPA. But
you're wanting a winter ale or something.
Yeah, well, I had
You're wanting a winter warmer.
Well, that's actually funny. Is Winco had not the Burr, it was a Legion's winter ale.
Bifrost.
Bifrost, thank you.
Yeah.
$3 for a 6-pack.
Ooh.
And so I went and bought like 3 packs, and I just got done with them. But yeah, it's a 8.5% winter warmer. It's like,
yeah,
delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
No, it's also partially why I grabbed the strong ale. Was I went, IPAs are good, but we're still early spring. It's not fresh hop season. I'm not quite in the mood for an IPA yet, and I just got done with Mixology March, and so I'm still kind of on that kick.
Yeah, no, well, I ran into the fridge and was like, oh, first 2 IPAs to see. All right, grab. Or, I was like, I need to get beers. My computer's loading right now. See, there's a couple other one. We got Often Infinity is having a pastry archery Napoleon Stout, or by Duclaw Brewing, 7.5%.
Nice.
Rev's also cracking a frame. Drew Rogue French Lambic Wild Ale.
Lambic style.
Pinot Noir grapes. 7.3, 4.1 on Untapped.
Bees Knees got a straight to ale Monkey Knot IPA, 7.25. And Friar Ducks drinking a nice cup of Liberty for Super Earth. All right, good stuff tonight.
Yeah.
I always love seeing beers from around the country, around the world. A couple of those I recognize. A lot of them are brand new, and that's always fun all the time.
I know. It's also just interesting, like other people's like styles of like, oh, this is what I'm going to sit down and enjoy a show with.
Right.
That's always just kind of fun because I always have my personal preferences, and I love hearing and seeing what other people's preferences are.
Yeah. I did shoot a video earlier, and I had Block 15's Charmed Life. It's their Irish Red.
Oh yeah, did they rename that?
I don't know. I haven't seen this one before.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure I had their red, but
I know I've had a red from them, but I don't know if this is the same one. That was a solid, English Irish style red. Not hoppy at all. Very, very malty.
That's good, especially caramel in Oregon.
Caramel with a touch of like sea salt toffee, like fresh toffee. It was really, really good.
What was it called again?
Charmed Life. Block 15 Charmed Life.
Oh yeah, there it is.
5%, nice and easy drinking.
Yeah.
But fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
I will keep an eye out for that one. I love me a good red.
But I think it's time to get into the news. Starting with Microsoft. I think we need to have this chat again. Thank you today, or a couple days ago, for issuing an update which removed CoPilot AI from Windows Server 2025. My question for you is, why in the hell are you putting consumer-focused tech into your server OS again? Why is it there? Why was it there? Why does this keep happening? It has no place in a server OS. Any single solitary feature that delivers advertisement or collects metrics does not belong in a server OS. Period. End of discussion. I don't know why we're having this talk again. I am so incredibly frustrated with Microsoft over so many years, dating back to Server 2012 when they started integrating Windows Metro UI, or the New Look UI.
Oh yeah.
Where they had live tiles, and it's like, oh, here's your Photos app, and here's the News app. It's like, I don't
here's the weather. I'm not here for that.
Exactly. I'm not in this menu to open those things. I don't need, MSNBC and Weather Channel piped into my server OS. Why is this here?
Yep. Just
and
CoPilot, more processing power and memory being taken up.
It's not even that. It's a potential ingest of things that shouldn't be there.
Also, something that might need to be like, oh, it needs to update. You need to update this, and when it's absolutely nothing that needed to be updated.
Yeah. But it's like, I'm not using a server OS to sit down and compose an article or I don't need a muse to strike me while I'm at a server, at least not in the fashion that CoPilot can deliver it via GPT. And I guarantee if you use CoPilot, they're collecting metrics on you. It's personally identifiable information. I don't know what CoPilot's integration into Windows is yet. I haven't really looked at it as far as what it has access to. But again, that has no place inside of Windows Server.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't know why. I mean, my first initial thought was, oh, okay, maybe it's for like, I don't know, a new person learning, how to use and build a server. So they'll just ask that. But yeah, but still, I was like, that's 1% of the clientele you're probably pushing toward. So why put this feature on there? I don't know. I mean, unless it's integrated and you can tell it, hey, find me the problem of what's going on here, which is then what you said, probably going to be leaking your information, your settings, how you do things, how it's set up.
Even if it's just potentially leaking my information.
Or yeah, exactly. So
there's enough holes to close on a server already. I don't need one opened for me. So incredibly frustrating that this keeps happening, that this decision keeps getting pushed through.
Well, and then even in this article, didn't they say like, oh, we don't know if it actually was taken away. They just didn't mention it. And we can't see it, but there's been no official statement.
Right.
So it could still be there.
Right. There was a specific update for Windows Server 2025. As of build 62085, CoPilot has been removed. Now, a number of different... I read quite a few different articles about this week, and I'll give credit to TechRadar. That was the first one that I saw it on. They reached out to Microsoft for comment saying, was this mistakenly added? And Microsoft is refusing to comment. So whether it was added on purpose and then the outrage of people like me forced Microsoft to take it down, or whether it was a mistake that was added to their server line instead of their consumer line, we'll probably never know. But the fact of the matter is, it got added to their server line. It was deployed on Windows Server since September.
Just one of those features that everyone forgot to take off of like, oh, okay, here's what separates server from your, pro model version. Oh, no one ever talked about, the AI feature. All right, well, we'll just leave it on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, now that I got to think about it, it is really ridiculous because you only want certain features on your Windows Server because it's not meant for browsing. It's not meant for, I'm going to do my video editing on. I'm going to do it. It's file sharing. It's management. That's what it's meant for.
Right. It's not supposed to be a full feature OS. It's supposed to be the bare bones of Windows and all you need to run the services that you want to run. Yeah. Whether it's an Active Directory server or whether it's DHCP or, in any of other number services that you could possibly run on a Windows server. CoPilot is not one of them, and nor am I, again, like you said, using it to do web browsing or anything like that. Frustrating that this keeps happening. It makes me want to not use Windows Server.
I mean, more and more servers are Linux-based anyways, but yeah, someone in the chat was saying like 2025 is the year of the Linux server.
1995 was the year of the Linux server. And it's been Linux since then. Windows has always had a pretty small, relatively small footprint in the enterprise space. Windows Server is definitely a necessity of a number of businesses, whether it be Active Directory integration or whether it be web services, website hosting or things like that. However, 90% of the web runs on Linux. And so, yes, Windows Server is definitely still a thing, and it's still a very valuable thing. I'm not poo-pooing the existence of Windows Server. I'm poo-pooing the way they're treating it.
Yeah, I know they're treating it like it's going to be. We're just going to integrate this into Pro, and then it'll go away. We're just going to slowly merge. They're basically, what was it? Who did that? Was it like eBay or something, where they changed the color dramatically, and slowly over time, eBay every day changed the shade, one shade different, so it was a gradual change. Where Windows is now saying, "Oh, we're just going to probably start merging the features of like Windows Home and Pro into Windows Server, so and you just won't notice it in 10 years. Yeah, it's just going to be one product, and then you just turn the things on and off, or you think you are turning them on and off."
The thing is, you're accusing Microsoft of wanting to slowly consolidate their SKUs. Microsoft has never consolidated a single SKU in their life.
Yeah.
How many Windows SKUs are there, John?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I hate, what is it, S? Yes,
there are like 7 Windows Pro SKUs, okay?
That's true.
Let's pump the brakes on Microsoft doing something that might benefit their end-user license agreements.
All right, you got me on that one. I will concede that point.
What about the flipper in the headline? It's been 26 minutes. It's a 2-hour show. We'll get to it.
Why aren't you drinking yet?
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to open my beer first.
Yeah. Tell us that first. We'll get to it. Don't worry.
Saw Hardware sends over a super chat to Kiwi Bucks. Thank you so much. Thoughts on a used Optane P4800X for a Windows boot drive? Certainly overkill for a Windows boot drive. I love Optane disks. I have a use for them right now in a project that I have going on, but I'm not sure that I still want to spend the money on them because, price per terabyte is still exceedingly expensive, even though the write endurance is totally there. For a Windows disk, it'd be the last Windows drive you probably ever need to buy. Yes, your operating system constantly writes. It doesn't constantly fill your drive every single day, 2-3 times over. Optane disks are meant to do like 5 full drive writes per day for something like 10 to 12 years, I think is what most of them were rated for. So if you've got a 350 or even a 1.5 terabyte drive, somewhere in that neighborhood, and you install Windows and you use it for a boot disk, it'll outlive you. Barring some other hardware failure. The nice thing about the Optane disk, though, is going to be latency. That's where they absolutely exceed. And so if you want to double click on an icon and then have it go and it's just up, Optane. A real server doesn't need a GUI. That's why they have Windows PowerShell. You can install Windows without a GUI, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but you could do it. Let's see. I predict 2025 will be the year for Linux. Just like every other year.
And every other Linux user says that.
Yep. I avoid the whole conversation of this is the year of the Linux desktop because I use operating systems as tools. This tool works for this job and this tool works for a different job. And as long as I have tools available to me that fit their purpose, cool, I'm happy.
That's what it's for.
I'm not a fanboy. I'm an IT guy. So
got the job done.
That's right.
Does it work? Does it work?
Slow Hardware. Intel Smart Cache for gaming. Does it help much? I've never used Smart Cache for gaming, so I cannot comment on that. Intel disclosed their financials earlier today, and boy, the news is not great. So in 2022, and we're speaking directly to Intel's foundry business. That is Intel's chip-making arm of their company. Intel forever designed and manufactured their own chips in-house. And they would report those chip sales as their earnings. However, Intel is starting a new thing where instead of only making their own chips, instead of only making their own design silicon, they are looking to branch out and become a foundry for other companies. And so, just like TSMC or Global Foundries or any fabrication plant like that, you can contract Intel, send them your chip designs, and they will print them on silicon for you. And so that's what we're talking about when we say Intel's foundry division. The first 2 years, now to be fair, Intel really hasn't opened this up yet. But their foundry division in 2022 listed a $5.2 billion loss. And in today's annual financial reportings, they reported an additional $7 billion loss. So in the last 24 months, Intel's foundry business has lost $12.2 billion. Oops. Wrong button. There we go.
Pennies.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. Now, Pat Gelsinger has been talking very frankly about this change, about this kind of shift for Intel from being 100% in-house to being 80% in-house and 20% a fab facility, or 50% a fab facility, or 80% a fab facility. And his goal is whether they're making Intel chips, or whether they're making ARM chips, or whether they're making chips for AMD or NVIDIA, he doesn't care, but he wants the best chips in the world to come out of Intel's fab. I mean, that's kind of his goal. He wants everyone who's anyone to use Intel like they're using TSMC. He said that in pretty much without mincing words. He recently did an interview with Dr. Tech Potato, Ian Cuttress, and said basically that exact same thing. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but apparently spinning up a fab business, it's expensive, especially when you don't have customers yet. $12.2 billion losses across the last 8 quarters.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a lot, but since I'm not too familiar with their whole financial structure. I mean, sure, that could be a hit, but maybe for startups, for them, like that's completely normal. So I can't really super comment on it. For me, when someone says billion, I'm like, oh man, and then you're like, double-digit billion? Yeah, that's a mistake. Yep. It sounds like someone's either mismanaging it, or your manufacturing, what's there, isn't as good as people. It's not as appealing to the outside customers that you're trying to bring in. What's wrong there? So it raises flags. However, because I don't know too much about their startups, their financials, and everything like that, maybe that is that's just standard cost. And in 5 to 10 years, that $12 billion that they're losing now, they could be making that in profit every year.
And that's kind of what it sounds like. I mean, anytime a company records $12 billion in losses over a 5 and then a $7 billion loss across consecutive financial years, most people would call that cause for alarm. Intel, and I'm going to directly quote CNBC here, Intel said Tuesday that it expected its foundry losses to peak in 2024 and supposedly start trailing off from there. So we might see an even bigger loss in the next 2 quarters compared to the last 8, but then start trailing off. And then eventually break even midway between this quarter and the end of 2030. So 2028, maybe 2027, they're hoping to break even on this new project. The company said previously that Microsoft would use its foundry services and that it has $15 billion in revenue for foundry already booked. So there is that. However, they also have to prove it. They also have to. I mean, they have $15 billion in foundry revenue booked, but that's going to be work and expenditures and everything else on top of what they've already spent. And so $15 billion is not going to erase this $12 billion deficit. That's going to add another 6 to it.
Yeah.
And so really curious to see what happens.
Yeah, they really have to showing signs of improvement or life, at least in the next couple of years, I think, probably within the next 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I understand there can still be a loss if you went from 7 to 5, 4, 2. All right, there's improvement. In 3 to 5 years, like you're saying, we're going to be dead even, and in another 5 years, we're going to make all of that back, and our goal is 25, 50 years. We want to be doing this for the long haul, and they'll make money. And then during that process, innovation will come, and things could ramp up, and things can be better and better and better. I'm betting they're probably want to be on the front end of innovation, so then that way other marketers then come to them even faster. I don't know. That's all business. That's things insiders know, how they're planning, what's going on. But yeah, it doesn't look good right now. So some form of change, something better, I think has to happen for outside customers to come in, though, still.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
To help with that. They have to sell it to someone and do something dramatic, or a really good product has to come out of them and be like, look, Intel made this, whether it's at a loss or whatever, but it's like Intel helped fabricate this chip and it's an amazing chip, or for whatever reason. Of whatever type of die.
I see a couple people mention the earthquake earlier today in chat, as far as how badly is the earthquake in Taiwan going to affect companies like TSMC. I actually did look that up earlier, and I had an article queued up just in case that conversation came up. TSMC shrugs off Taiwan's biggest earthquake in 25 years, showing its massive chip foundry mega complexes are nearly earthquake-proof. They're still in production.
Yeah, and I didn't hear when that was brought up in chat. I was like, I didn't hear anything about any kind of chip manufacturers being hurt or anything like that. So that's not what I heard.
TSMC is deploying all available resources for full recovery, and impacted facilities are expected to resume production throughout the night.
Yeah.
So. They lost less than a day. And that was basically for calibration checks, I'm guessing. So yeah, that's how Intel did not make up ground today because of an earthquake in Taiwan.
Yeah, no. 2, actually.
Yeah.
There was an aftershock.
Oh, there were numerous aftershocks.
Yeah, there was it was a 7.5, and then the aftershock was 7.4. It was actually, I saw some videos. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So, actually, Oregon got hit with like a 5.8 off the coast last week.
We had like 6 or 7 earthquakes in the course of 24 hours, all of which were a little bit larger than we normally get. Now, there is a tectonic plate. It's about 40 miles offshore, off the Oregon coastline, and
that's where most of these were happening.
And that's where primarily all these happened. One of them came a little closer. I think one was within 10 miles of shore or something like that. But the majority of them tend to be between 30 and 40 miles offshore, down in Port Orford, Gold Beach kind of area. And that's where these were. But they were a little bit stronger and a little bit more frequent than we're used to. Earthquakes of this size, they're uncommon, but the frequency of these earthquakes is not uncommon in that region. So, but yeah, it's going to be really interesting for Intel as far as this investment and this change in strategy goes. Couple of people saying, don't judge a business by quarters, judge them by years or even long term. I understand the current plan is aiming for 2030 and sometime in the next 6 years to break even. I understand how businesses work. I've been in tech a very long time. But you see 12 billion losses. You've only secured 15 billion in revenue, and you haven't even started production yet. Okay. John, did we lose your microphone? Suddenly I have nothing from you. Let me make sure it's not on my end. Nope, it's not on my end.
You got.
Oh, there you are. For a split second.
Default has changed.
There you are. There you are.
All right.
There you are. Yeah, you're back.
I changed it. Let's see. I think it's using a different microphone.
No, this sounds like you did before.
All right.
You came back. You came back for a split second, and that was using a different microphone. That was blown out like all hell. And
that was probably my earbuds.
Okay, yeah, you're back to normal now. So.
All right, yeah, I touched nothing.
Okay.
That was weird because usually it's like camera dies. I'm like, oh, I can see the camera dies, and you'll hear me. This is the first the mic's ever died. You might hear some choice words when the camera dies.
Yeah, no, suddenly you went all right. You went.
I'm pretty sure Rhett does that on purpose, though. That's the thing.
He does. That was the joke.
Yeah. It's like, I have nothing to comment on this, and he just goes on this TED talk about something, or he calls it like, well, I can't repeat that, so let's go to the next subject.
Yes. Exactly. How's your beer treating you?
It is delicious. Usually, something around these are that acid burn. This is quite smooth, nice, oaty, very fruity, citrus back end.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's more melony of an double IPA, so it's just wonderful. And again, etched glass, still got a nice little foamy head at the top. As you can see, the rings are just the layers. It's great. Yep. All around great. How is that strong ale?
I had to grow into this one. I had to grow a little chest hair first. Not what I was expecting. Roasty like burnt coffee when it first started. And I was like, did this go bad? Because you mentioned like it's a long trip for a Trappist ale, and I went, I agree with that, but I still wanted to try it. And my first 5 minutes with it, I was worried like this one might have gone bad. It's richened up so much over the last 20 or so minutes, where it's warm, butterscotchy, very bitter. That roasty flavor, I think, was tricking me into thinking burnt, where... Oh.
Nope.
I didn't like it.
So my producer just walked in. She just opened a Two-Town cider house, The Batty. Pink Lady apple cider. And she goes, I hated it. So
I like Pink Ladies.
It's very bitter and alcoholic.
Well, Jeff just had a big bitter beer, or for him, dark chocolate roast. So that's might be
good.
That might be candy for your palate right now.
I didn't like that sour bitter note at the end.
You're right.
That sounds delicious, though.
That was candy.
Yeah. Well, I think your mouth got so used to that flavor.
This is what I was just drinking. It's burnt coffee and butterscotch and whatnot. That's straight up like candy.
It's got like this bittery.
What was that? I want to get that Two-Town. Pink Lady.
Like the caramel apple ones or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it was it warmed up, and that burnt flavor completely loosened up and broke up and turned into the beer that I wanted it to be. And I don't think that was a mental exercise. I think that was the beer needed to be 10 degrees warmer.
That really could be it. I mean, again, those Trappist beers, English, European style, are meant to be a little bit more warm.
Yep.
Our fridges here in America, we try to keep them a little bit chiller.
Yep, 36. Right.
Yep. So, what was that cider called again?
The Batty.
The Batty.
Baddie.
It sounded delicious. There it is. Hey, 3.88. That's nothing to talk about for a cider. 8%? Yeah.
8%, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pick one of those up.
And it's definitely all of that. It's got a boozy flavor to it.
I am a big fan of Pink Lady apples. So
yeah.
That's currently my family's go-to apple for the past 2 to 3 years recently. So. What is it? Luke is having a Deschutes Dank Hazy Double IPA, 9%. Cheers to you, Luke. So, yeah. No, but again, cocktail. That's the interesting thing with cocktails and beer. It's a little bit different because you have to make a really in-depth cocktail for a lot of change. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Where a beer, I don't know. You don't have to make a super complicated, lots of different flavors and different malts. It's really just you could have a weird yeast strain, and it could change the flavor of this beer through temperature variant.
Yeah.
So but again, love both, and that's the best part of everything. So.
Yeah. Warm butterscotch. Dry finish, very bitter, but very, very good. Very rich flavor.
Sounds like a...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it sounds like a nice, warm campfire beer without being too high ABV.
Yeah.
It's one of those of I can enjoy this, I'm going to be done, and I'm probably going to feel fine with this one, and be... But
you mentioned campfire. I need a s'more with this.
See, I can see that. Yeah, nice. Sweet snack.
I need a s'more and I need a cigar.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go. So you got bitter, you got a sweetness, you got a smokiness, and then you combined everything together.
Yeah. This is like eating a s'more while smoking a cigar. That's exactly what this is like. And I just got a DM from Jordan at Storage Review. He has he sent me a picture of a giant Deep Space Nine poster, and he says, "Where do we put this?" And I said, "On a pedestal where it belongs."
You didn't. Oh, I don't know if you saw this. I tweeted at you, or I should have posted it otherwhere. But it was.
I did happen to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, DS9 gets the worst performance for
Who
Netflix.
would have thought that Netflix had the most uncultured viewers?
What are you talking? That's where all this. That's the only place that has Star Trek. Oh no, I don't think Paramount.
No, you know what happened is everyone subscribed to Paramount so they could watch Star Trek, and they had already all watched Deep Space Nine because it's the best one. And now that it's on Netflix, they're catching up on the rest of the crap.
Enterprise outbeat that. The first season of Enterprise outbeat the best season of DS9,
which is the biggest amount of horse I've ever heard in my life.
The best part was season 1 and 2 of TNG is way better.
Do you know what's funny? Is seasons 1 and 2 of let me look this up. Hold on. I've got to pull up that chart so people know what we're talking about here. Yeah, seasons 1 and 2 of TNG outdid almost all of Star Trek.
Yeah, I know.
Which just goes to tell me that... Hold on one sec. There we go. Got it. Okay. So here is that chart.
Yep, okay. There it is.
Oops. Let me shrink it down here. There we go. So we can
There
see
we
it.
go. There we go.
So Netflix viewership of Star Trek on Netflix. So you can see, original series lags behind TNG. Enterprise outdoing Voyager in 2 out of, that.
Yeah, that
seems
surprising.
A bit weird.
That was, yeah.
Voyager outpacing Deep Space Nine. I don't know if that's ever happened before.
I mean, I could see it being close if it was like the last season and the last season of Voyager, last couple of seasons of Voyager versus the first couple of seasons of DS9. I could see a comparison there.
But season 1 being the most popular.
Yeah.
What that tells me is people watch season 1 trying to introduce themselves to Star Trek and never watched another episode because it was so god-awful. That's what that tells me. Because there's no way season 1 has more than season 4 through 7. There's no possible way. If these people continued watching, these numbers would be higher.
Don't know.
If these people continued watching, these numbers would be higher. I think this was people trying to introduce themselves to the series and went, I just can't.
Well, see, but you see the next season, and that was, it's the biggest dip other than the very last season, which is actually, that's surprising because that's a pretty decent season.
Right. 5 and 7 are probably the best of TNG.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably 2, maybe 3 bad episodes in the season 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see after season 3 it gets back and then teeters down. Where DS9 it's so small, that's the problem. It's kind of hard to tell, Jeff. I gotta zoom in to see those numbers. It's like
here, does this help? Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We talked Star Trek today.
We talked Star Trek. John trying to troll me on a dead platform. Daryl sends over 2 Aussie bucks. Thank you so much. Are US Intel fab plants online? We were talking about the earthquakes. Is this a question in relation to the earthquakes, or is this a question in relation to Intel's third-party fab service? Their third-party fab service, I believe, is doing early validation runs, as I've heard through the grapevine, but that's about all I can say. But as far as earthquakes, the earthquakes were 140 miles away or something like that. So no worry there. Yeah. Let's see. Novella Hub says, say hello to the producer. I will tell her when I go back upstairs. Let's see. 2:44 a.m. in the UK, and I saw someone else said 12:44 in New South Wales. So we got viewers from all over the world. Nice. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Cheers, all. Warm in here.
Slow Hardware, 5 New Zealand bucks again. I think raw clock speed on the 7980XE would outperform a 6950X in gaming. Definitely would. Stupid upgrade for gaming, I know, but I need something for the X299 Dark. The X299 Dark is a wonderful board with a crappy selection of CPUs. If you're going to buy a new board, I'm assuming you have a 6950X now, but you also have an X299 Dark. Sell it all, buy yourself a 2nd gen Ryzen platform. Buy yourself a Zen 2. You can get a 16-core 3950X for like $200. That will dominate any CPU on those platforms, bar none. It's fun to play with certain hardware platforms, and if you need the PCI Express capabilities that comes with a 7980XE or a 10980XE or something like that, by all means, go that route. Lord knows it's a lot more affordable than Threadripper right now. But if you're just looking at like gaming, sell what you have, buy Zen 2 or Zen 3. Craft computing, where's the bingo sheet?
That would be fun.
That would be fun to do. Craft computing bingo.
We should do maybe for the Patreon, or like the next either anniversary show, big show, whatever, where all 4 of us are on. We do a bingo card that for the Patreons. So you have to, if you want to participate, do this, and then we can give away a prize or something, or do something special for that the person who has a winning card. Yeah,
I have thought about starting to do merch giveaways during the show. I'm not sure how I would do it.
The logistics are interesting,
right? But I've thought about doing like a giveaway of like, I'll send you a set of coasters, or I'll send you a pint glass, or something like that, for the comment that makes me laugh, or some kind of contest that goes on during a show that we can announce at the end of the show, and we can go from there. I don't know what that would look like yet, but know that I'm investigating something like that, because I make my own merch, so it's not exactly difficult to do.
Well, it'd be kind of fun if you did that, and then even etched in the glass or something of like winner of. Yeah. That way it's even more customized of like, this is the one of a kind.
Yeah.
That there's only one of these. So, you take the coaster and you etch a message on the back. Yeah. Really quick. Something like that.
I'm going to talk like internal shop really quick. I usually don't do this. I got an email yesterday, I think it was, from a guy who had bought some of my merch and really liked it, and showed some of his coworkers at his job, and they were oohing and ahhing, and he showed his boss, and his boss said, how much would he charge to make custom merch for us, to buy like everyone a pint glass and a coaster. So I sent a quote out to a fairly large company, that if I said the name of it, you all would go, I know them. That I might be making like 100 to 150 glasses for.
That's a decent
with their logo and like circuit designs and things like that. So
I thought they asked for the hops and brews.
Right. I pitched it. I gave them an extra 30% off. They still weren't taken. So sorry, I did what I could.
You throw those in there. You're like, I had these extra lying around. There, no one's buying these.
Well, what's nice is your logo is on either side of it. It's on 2 sides, so I have 2 other sides that I can use for a proof glass that I could etch their logo on and send them and go, is this okay? Because I got lots of those laying around.
Yeah. Hey, as long as my name's out there. See, could you put a QR code on here?
It wouldn't read on the glass.
Do you think not?
It would not.
What if you had to fill it with a stout?
It would be close. It would be tricky. I
would buy you a package of glassware just to try it out.
I mean,
that would be. I don't know. It's just kind of fun. Like, yeah, hey, here's a QR code. Let's get. But you have to have a secret beer.
I will say, so here's what I'll say, is my method of etching the glass is no chemicals, no etching spray, no nothing. I put the glass in blank, clear glass, and my laser etches directly into the glass. It reacts with the crystal and the minerals inside the glass, the sand, and heats up and basically selectively sinters the glass. It is a controlled fracturing. There are other methods of engraving glassware that I could use an etching spray that, rather than reacting with the glass, it reacts with a paint or a coating
like
on the
chemical.
top of it.
Yeah, I've done that, yeah.
And it burns and fuses wherever the laser touches onto the surface of the glass. And that you get a much more opaque engraving. I like this style. I like the texture that it gives.
Yeah.
It's a really pleasant glass to hold. And it's a really unique look because no one really does their glasses like this. It's a semi-frosted look, and I love that. There is a way to do an opaque engraving with my laser that would read a QR code no problem. It's more expensive. The etching spray is like $50 for a 4-ounce can or some crap like that.
Yeah, I know. But I wonder if you could. I wonder if it could read it. If the right beer was behind it to make a transparency. I wonder if you could. I don't know.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. Fun experiment to try on a single glass, or like I said, I'd buy you a case of 20 and be like, all right, do your best. Go have fun. It doesn't work after 10, keep the other 10. I don't care. You could have Amazon affiliate links in the QR codes.
We'll go full Inception. We'll just link it back to craftcomputing.store.
There you go. Yeah, you want more of this? Buy this. Here you go. Full circle.
Speaking of the store, since that was a natural segue, I have a couple new designs up in the shop right now. So,
yes.
I did a couple new coasters. I designed a couple new coasters this last weekend, and I'm really excited about them. One of them is this guy right here.
That's a fun one.
This is a 1-to-1 replica of an Intel X79 Xeon. This is a 2667 V0 Sandy Bridge Xeon. It's all
Same
the pads
size too.
It's all 2011 pads. Ask me how I know. But all the capacitors are 1-to-1. If you flip over a Sandy Bridge Xeon, this is what you see. This was
the same size as the coaster too.
Yeah, this was a really fun one to make from scratch. But it's like a honeycomb pattern. It's really, really cool. Same price as the rest of my coasters. The one I'm really proud of, though, and what might be my favorite one.
This one's good. I like it.
So Vince, Circuit Rewind over in the Discord. By the way, subscribe to Circuit Rewind if you like retro tech and all kinds of stuff like that. He does a really good job. He sent me over some Doom floppy disks and said how much to make these onto a coaster. And so I actually did the Doom floppy disks on a coaster, and I'll be selling some of those exclusively at PDX Land this weekend. So if you stop by and see me, I'll sell you a pack of 4 coasters for $20. And by the way, it also says disc 1 of 4, disc 2 of 4, disc 3 of 4. I went all out recreating that, but I'm like, I really can't sell those online because I'm worried about copyright. Now, parody is protected by copyright law, but how far does that law extend? And you are guilty of plagiarism until proven innocent in a court of law. I didn't want to push Bethesda or Microsoft in this case on anything that might infringe on that, and so I'm like, I'll make these. They're kind of fun. I'll sell them Etsy style at the show, but that's all I'm gonna do. Hey, Vince is in chat. Circuit Rewind, you rang? So I went, well, how can I do this style of floppy disk but make it my own? And so I made a beer installation floppy disk.
Nice. Yeah, that was great. That's really what.
So this was really fun. This was really fun to put together. The logo is embossed. It's actually textured. It's got a layer to it. It's really cool. So those are all live right now on craftcomputing.store.
We have a great question from Isaac. Isaac K. He's like, am I blind, or are the Hops and Brews glasses not in the store anymore? Ooh, good question. I assumed sold out. That's
they should be there.
No. I have confirmed. I went to the Hops and Brews section. It is only Whiskey Stones. And,
what in the world?
And the bottle opener. And
I did not remove them.
I thought I saw. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
those were not a limited time thing.
I was up here like
You're
a
right.
week or so
no,
ago,
your section.
And I thought I saw it.
Yeah, no, your section has. In fact, that's the old version of your bottle opener ttoo. I thought I had updated the picture. I added the bunny to your bottle opener as well.
Oh, nice.
So someone did buy. I sold one set of Whiskey Stones during Mixology March, and they were Hops and Brews.
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a.
Yeah, baby.
I even used my Whiskey Stones during the month because I had that failure and I poured myself some scotch. I'm like, what the crap? John's Whiskey Stone Cell instead of
Yeah,
mine?
baby.
By the way, I love our friendly rivalry. It's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
That little bastard.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that.
I'm gonna buy him some strawberry ale with the profits, so maybe next time he'll get it right.
I'm telling you, I gotta go and make that beer again and make you drink it on the show. That's what we gotta do. For charity purposes only.
We'll have it as soon as we have that old Fort George.
Oh, I should have never given that to you.
It's well aged now. That was
I know
4 years ago.
I know.
I've been holding that bottle for 4 years.
See, I have a couple. I think right at the exact same time, I got a crowler of 120 of Dogfish
Head, yeah.
And it's still sitting in my fridge. And it's like 4 to 5 year old 120 Dogfish Head in a crowler. What would that taste like?
I don't know if that's even a coin flip at this point.
Do you age beers or not? I don't know. Well,
right.
IPAs.
Right. Whew. That one could really go either way. I know which way it probably went.
Me too.
But
I don't know. I know there's a video, and I'm just like, I'm always like 75 to 80% of the idea there, and then it's like, it's such a, and the fact that it's a crowler, that's the other problem.
Yeah,
it's a crowler, and it's like, that's a lot of 120 to drink. And because originally I was like, okay, I'll eventually do fresh versus 5-year-old.
Right.
All right, that's the easy video right there.
Right.
Or do you make it just, hey, do you age crowlers at all? Because, how good is canning at a tap room? Let's check it out. I did this. But because I only have one, what's the best video? What direction do I go?
Yeah.
Bang for my buck. So, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. Actually, I gotta go. I haven't filmed at all last week, so I gotta bust out a lot of videos this weekend.
This is my first. I spent like an hour in my office last Thursday. I didn't come back into my office until this morning. Long week, very long week. Coupled with the worst sinus infection I've ever had in my life over the weekend. I was like, just like, leave me to die. My wife walked in. I'm laying on my bed. I can't stand up. I'm so dizzy. And she brought me some some Dayquil tabs. And she goes, "Do you need anything else?" And I said, "Yeah, a bullet."
No, that my wife. So like there was like this coughing thing that went around. My whole family got it. My son and I, a week. Felt like a cold for us. Yeah. A little bit of coughing, a little runny nose. My wife, it transformed into a sinus infection. She got fluid in her ears, and she's coughing up a lot, and she's very dizzy. She has pressure in her
the pressure behind my eyes was so bad I couldn't close my eyes.
Yeah, she was just like in pain. And then finally the doctor's like, "You have to take these horse pill antibiotics because you should have come in here way sooner." Yeah. And so she's on day 5 of them. It's so funny. She took them, and her pupils will not dilate. What happens when they shrink? Yeah, they were just we would just make fun. I could tell when she had them because her pupils were just teeny tiny.
Constrict, yeah.
Yeah, they were constrict, and it was just so. Oh man, look, she's on the mend now. She's got like 2 more days on it. But, yeah. No, I totally. She's been on it for like a month, and she's like last week was her worst. She said. Yeah.
Nameless Horror sends over $5. Jeff, did you find a way to use the X-Reel with the Steam Deck and charge at the same time? Love the show. Cheers. I know there are devices out there that are like USB-C splitters that you can do power input on one and data on the other. I've not really tried to push more with the Steam Deck because I have other handhelds that have multiple USB-C ports that both work for DisplayPort, data, and power. I use the Ioneo Lite, and recently I've also been jamming on the 1X Fly. I've been playing that a lot more lately. So I didn't really research if any of those splitters would work, but I know they exist. So that's a possible way to go. However, I don't know if you use those, if it will still provide power to the glasses that you're trying to use. I think it severs the data lines, sends power one way and data another. I don't know, though. So wish I could be more helpful. Vince sends over $10. Some beer money for the PDX LAN weekend. Woohoo! Heck yes.
Oh, you gotta have to tell me where you guys are going for lunch, because I'm gonna try to make it there for like a lunch.
Oh heck yes.
So I talked to my boss. He's like, yeah, you want to go take 2 hours, 2.5 hours off? Go ahead. So I was like, I'm gonna go plan a meal, say hi to everyone.
Heck yes. We'll get all four of us in a room.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta work, but I was like, I gotta make it at least this year.
We will plan Friday lunch somewhere that we can find you.
All right, yeah.
There's a sports bar on 99 in Vancouver that we like going to, or Ridgefield, I believe it is, that we like going to. So I will probably do that. They have amazing sandwiches and burgers and bar food and things like that.
Yeah, I figured like it's like a 45-minute drive from where I'm at. I figured an hour lunch and then an hour there hanging out, and then another 45-minute back, and then it's like, there we go.
Yeah, perfect.
You know, something like that with my company. It's like, and if it's a Friday, works even better.
Yeah, we can make that work. Yeah,
we'll make that work.
Sweet.
So if you're coming, Friday's the time to come, because Hops and Brew's going to be there.
Friday, lunch with Craft Computing. We will have all 4 hosts in the same room at the same time.
There we go.
And hopefully one of these years, we'll get John up to PDX LAN, and we'll have all 4 of us side by side.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Vince, for the beer money.
Yeah.
It will be well spent this weekend.
Speaking of beer money, I'm done with my beer.
I am too. I kind of sipped on the cider, but I was really looking forward to the clay bottle, so I think I'm going to switch to that, and I think I'll finish this one off in the after show.
All right. Well, I already know. Wait, unless your clay bottle's anything other than the specialty one, I think I know. Isn't it the standard?
Standard.
Okay, it's a standard.
Delirium Nocturnum.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Right. It's the small bottle too.
It's a small bottle.
It's the small bottle. Well, they used to come in the big clay.
They used to come in 22-ounce clay bottles.
Yeah.
Right? No, but it's a little clay bottle. It's adorable.
Yeah, I know it's adorable. All right, well, you do that. You mind holding down the fort for
not
less
a
than 5
problem.
minutes?
Not a problem.
Right, I'm gonna go see what else I can find.
Sweet. Yeah. So this is also an import. This is a Belgian beer. I can't pronounce the brewery. Huyghe Brewery. It is from Belgium. These are imported by a company in Maryland, I believe, is who these are from. But the really cool thing about them, they come in actual clay bottles, and they're absolutely amazing. Whoa! Okay. I don't know how that happened. Lovely. It is still overflowing. Holy crap. What the heck? It's okay, I didn't plan on bringing this mouse to PDX LAN. Good lord. Alright. Well, this just got awkward. There's literally 6 ounces of beer on my desk right now. I don't know if anyone caught that overflowing. Oh, lovely. Dang it. Luckily I had a hand towel fairly... Actually, I have 2 of them. All right, I'll be able to dry my desk. Sweet. I don't even have to move. So there's my coaster now. John, you missed all the excitement.
What happened?
Here's how much beer I have left.
It exploded?
I popped the top and it went... The whole thing. 6 ounces of beer on my desk.
Oh.
It smells amazing. No idea what happened. This beer has been sitting here for an hour and a half.
I mean, well, that's infection, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Did it go up your nose?
No.
Oh, okay.
I still have the cold, so I was making sure. Yeah. Figured I'd wipe my nose while I have a towel.
Oh, man.
Doesn't smell infected. It smells pretty good.
All right. Well, I wasn't able to find a clay bottle, but I did find a European strong ale.
Okay.
So I figure, but it's not really that strong for a strong ale. I got this from a patron. It's Bishop Fingers.
Bishop's Finger.
Yeah.
Nice. I've had that one.
Oh, okay.
I've had that one.
5.2%. It did not explode. So.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Got to clean off the bottom of my trackball now.
I can smell this from here. It's nice malt flavor or aromatics.
Yeah, that's like a $2 beer in the UK. You can. The person I got mine from actually was Andy from eTechnics sent me that beer.
Okay, we're not.
You son of a bitch. Rich chimes in with $2. Thank you, Rich. It's not Mountain Dew in a Mac Mini. Thank you. Thank you for that. Where I used to work, we primarily had Windows desktops for the longest time. I used an Apple laptop primarily for most of my work, and I wanted to have a Mac desktop for my workflow. Apple and their expose and their multi-monitor or multi-window management, it's otherworldly if you're dealing with 30 windows at the same time. You're doing any kind of development or organization or flowchart or anything like that. And so that's primarily what I worked on. So I requested, this is 2009, maybe. Yeah, it had to have been 2009 because it was an original white box Mac Mini. I requested my boss buy me a Mac Mini. And so he agreed. He agreed to do the expenditure, and we bought a Mac Mini server that I was going to use as a workstation. I wanted the server because it had... it was just a standard Mac Mini. That's right, that's important. It was a standard Mac Mini. The replacement that we bought after this one was the server because it had 2 hard drives. But I got a Mac Mini. Core 2 Duo, NVIDIA 9400M, I think. It was back when NVIDIA made discrete cards for Apple still. I'd set it up. I think it was a Thursday. I got it out of the box on Thursday. Set it on my desk, got it all set up. It's sitting front and center underneath my monitors. Went home for the day. Came in on Friday, worked on it all day. Friday afternoon, maybe about 3 o'clock, I had a 20-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew. And I'd open the bottle of Mountain Dew. And I'd take a drink and I set it down on my desk. One drink out of it. And I went to grab the bottle and it kind of hit the bottom of my hand and tipped forward. And so I grabbed the bottle. So I tipped it forward, and I went, oh, shoot. And I grabbed it, and I squeezed it directly into the CD drive of the Mac Mini. and filled the Mac Mini with half a bottle of Mountain Dew.
What's funny is I'm also watching the replay.
Yeah.
Of both. So both are hilarious. It's just making both stories even funnier.
Yeah. So it's me, Rich, and I think one other coworker in the room at the time. And I'm going, oh God. And so I'm shutting everything down and tearing it apart and ripping the Mac Mini apart and cleaning it out. It's stone cold dead. It just blew it up. I'm like, crap. And I'm like, I literally just requested $1,000 computer and killed it within 24 hours. This is bad.
It showed up dead.
And I'm like, all right, now I need to go do the walk of shame down to my boss's office. So I walked down to my boss's office. My boss had left for the weekend. So I get to sit there and sweat it out until Monday when I have to talk to him. My anxiety did not like that. Thank you, Rich, for reminding me of that. Yeah, if you want to know how to kill a Mac Mini, squeeze 10 ounces of Mountain Dew directly into its one opening. There we go.
For a $2, hey, now you can have the cider.
Hey, John, are you watching the live view by any chance?
Son of a... You messed up, TD!
It's all going to hell. Andy will only send you bad beer. Yeah, no, he gave me Bishop's Finger, so that was the best thing you could do to a Mac Mini. No, well, maybe at the time. Yeah, the 2009 Mac Minis were not tremendous. The 2010s still weren't great. They went to the aluminum unibody, still with the Core 2 Duo. It was the 2011s that they got Sandy Bridge Mobile, and those were pretty solid. Those were amazingly good. You could get 4 cores in a Mac Mini with an NVIDIA. I think it was the GT310 graphics. It was pretty solid. So there we go. We'll leave John on the memory card screen. Yeah, no, the 2009s weren't great. But I will say in 2013, as soon as they were announced, we bought 4 Mac Pros and replaced all of our techs with all of our full-time techs with Mac Pro Towers. Because at that point, we were diving into virtualization environments and needing to support multiple operating systems. And again, using Mac OS Expose, it was the best way that you could cycle between working on a Windows desktop and working on a Linux desktop and working on a Mac desktop. And then you've also got remote desktop windows open, which, by the way, the remote desktop client from Microsoft for Mac OS is the best remote desktop client they've ever made. Yeah, so no, we were a full 2013 Mac Pro shop at one point. Actually, for the latter half of the decade, from 2013 to 2020, like, we were all Mac Pros. So yeah. Oh, anyway. Is that enough excitement?
Yeah, all right.
Cool.
All right.
We do have some AI news to get to, and this one was really fun. Hey, we're finally getting to a title story.
Yeah. This one was fun.
Yeah, and I think we'll do the Flipper story right after this. Amazon is ditching their just walk out checkouts at its grocery stores. Now that's really weird, because I thought they already had the technology in place to make that a thing. Was there a theft issue? No. The system was working. You could walk up, you could present your items, and then walk out. Or actually, no, what it was you scanned a QR code on your way into the store, and AI would track you as you walked through the store and record what you picked up, and then you could just walk out, and it would charge your card. And it's like, oh, that's really cool. It turns out the best way to get the most accuracy from AI is to not use AI. It's to hire 1,000 Indians to sit around watching cameras.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what this checkout system was. Do we train a neural network to recognize faces and track you through a store and watch every item you pick up and then automatically charge your account based on... No. What we'll do is we'll have 1,000 people in India that we pay pennies on the dollar to watch the cameras, and when you scan the QR code, it pings one of the techs to follow you throughout the store and record what items you're picking up. Hey, we solved AI!
Yeah.
This is absolutely true.
Yep. Well, we solved AI by adding actual intelligence to it.
Though it seemed completely automated, Just Walk Out relied on more than 1,000 people in India watching and labeling videos to ensure accurate checkouts. The cashiers were simply moved off-site, and they watched you as you shopped.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think some of it was technically, but I think later in the article it even references, out of they think they said 1,000 interactions, 700 of them had to be reviewed by these humans.
Yeah.
So 30% of the time, the AI wasn't accurate. It just didn't flag them.
Yeah.
So 70% of the time, it's just a human being watching you shop.
Yep.
And then they're like, this doesn't work.
Something, 1,000 monkeys, and you get the complete works of Shakespeare, or you just don't have to talk to a cashier.
Yep. Yeah, I know. And their solution for this is, hey, let's just add a tablet to the shopping cart now, so you can just put it in your shopping cart and hit purchase on the shopping cart. So you no longer have to do a self-checkout. The self-checkout is your shopping cart. Again, I don't think solves 90% of the problem of theft either way, because how do they know? They're still going to have people probably watching you because there's an honorary system there. None of it, even when this first came out, I thought this was stupid. And the fact that they relied on AI, that was stupid.
Yeah.
But now we know they weren't relying on AI.
Yeah.
Because they knew that was never going to work. Dumb. Although, you know what's going to happen? In 2 years, we're going to find out ChatGPT is 20,000 Indian guys just typing back at you. All the answers.
I mean, maybe.
That's when it's lagging, and it's like, oh, you're in queue. It's like, oh, no, there's just... What was the IT crowd where the episode where they had to call customer service, and it's the French guy? And, how may I help you? And they couldn't understand it.
My favorite is probably this. This is basically what the Amazon system was. To complete your registration, please tell us whether or not this image contains a stop sign. Time is a factor. We're approaching the stop sign. Answer quickly. Our self-driving car is almost at the intersection. So much of AI is just figuring out ways to offload work onto random strangers. By the way, this is XKCD. I don't remember what year this was, but this was many, many years ago. Probably around the time that Amazon was rolling out Just Walk Out Shopping.
Man, it's Vista. We're going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly, actually, I kind of like the concept of it. In retrospect, of yes, we can super dig on Amazon. I kind of like the concept of the idea of I could just go in. But when I was thinking of how does it know? There's got to be blind spots, and then therefore, then you're just tracking my face, which is my ID, and how do you know it's me? Okay, I know you scanned a QR code, and then therefore you're tracking probably an identification of this person once they scan the QR code. That takes a digital imprint, and that's the ID. Where's that being stored? How's that being manipulated? This goes back to say the Windows Server with the AI.
Yeah.
Integration. What information are they gathering? I understand you're the product. I understand all this, and there's certain limitations we as people give away for our information. This whole cell phones trackings. There's certain things that we probably
government's not going to track me. Tweeted from my government tracking device.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's still an idea of like facial recognition. Kind of gets you're starting to breach some stuff personally for me. It's like, oh.
And I will say, I called BS from the outset on this, because I'm sure machine learning algorithms work from if you were an engineer working on, if a customer takes an item and adds it to their cart, we know where the item came from, and we know that they put it into their cart. How do we track said interaction? It would be someone walks up and stands at a distance and looks at all their options and then reaches to the shelf and grabs one option and places in their cart nice and neat, right? Like, that's how we would train this, correct?
Yeah.
Do you know what I did today looking for tortoise food? We have a tortoise who requires a very specific diet. Certain greens are on limits, certain greens are off limits. One of the greens that is off limits is spinach. It can build up calcium levels inside of a tortoise, and it's not good for them to have in large quantities. And so we will buy salad mixes, but we can't buy salad mixes with spinach in them. And so I stood at the grocery store for 15 minutes in the produce section today, grabbing literally every bag off the shelf and reading the contents of that salad mix bag. And it's like, oh, spring mix. And I'd look in the bag and, oh, this doesn't have any spinach in it. And I'd flip around. It's like, it's the 13th ingredient. No. Yep. And I had 2-3 bags out at a time, and I'm reading through all of them. And then I'd walk back, two cases down, and I'd put this one back. And then, oh no, let me check that one again. That's what actual shopping is.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Which one did I finally add to my cart? I don't even know, but it was the one without spinach.
Yeah. No, I mean, really, the only way is if they put like a magnetic code on every package, and as you left, those codes got scanned. That's probably a more realistic way of doing it, but then you wouldn't be able to buy a single apple, a head of lettuce, certain organic items, you couldn't add to. I know. I agree with you of like, I called BS on this. I like the idea, but I was just like, there's no way. And they implemented this 4 years ago?
2016.
Like yeah. AI was
8 years ago.
Nowhere near.
No.
It's not today. It really isn't. It's getting better, but not today. It's still not. And you're also talking tracking resolutions of cameras, multiple people. Vegas cameras aren't that good.
Yeah.
And even those have people watching it 24 hours a day. So I'm sure as much AI as Vegas camera has, there's still real people watching those too.
Jordan says, just solve it with more Intel GPUs.
Well, that'd get them out of that, $12 billion hole.
I mean, yeah. The Flipper Zero. This little guy has been getting a lot of news stories as of late.
Right? It's a fun little toy.
Apparently it can steal cars, kill your cell phone, and set your entire curriculum back an entire week if you're a school district.
Yeah, that's bunk.
According to KSL out of Salt Lake City, investigation into electronic device at Utah school raises larger concerns for police. The fear-mongering and lack of understanding in this news article is shocking, even though they do go into some explanation later on in the article about talking to Flipper directly and whatnot. Like, they actually did some journalism, but I have some real issues with the first couple of lines of this article. Because, to my understanding of the Flipper Zero, they're patently not true. So they throw out an accusation and record it as fact, and then debunk some of that fact later in the article, but Look, I've worked with teachers, I've worked with police, I've worked with lawyers, I've worked with a lot of different people who are very, very intelligent people in very specific fields. That doesn't make them an expert in electronics or device security or anything like that. And I'm not throwing shade. What I'm saying is, from a journalistic standpoint, there needs to be a little bit more accountability on what is stated. And I certainly think from a police standpoint, that should be the case as well. Let me just read you this paragraph here. The class electronics were not working during the first hour. Speaking to a number of different teachers, that could mean literally anything.
You being an IT admin in a school district.
Do you know how many tickets I automatically closed because the ticket said it's not working today?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know.
Details. What are you trying to do? What have you tried to do? What specifically isn't working?
Is it even plugged in?
You managed to submit a ticket, which means something is working.
Yeah. You have access to the network.
I continue. This resulted in a high level of frustration on the part of the teacher because without computers, projectors, and other hardware not functioning, she could not teach her class effectively, and her students' education was set back as a result, putting the class a week behind in curriculum this quarter. That's a lofty accusation if this was a one-time event. During the first hour, we got set back an entire week. What? Computer, projector, and other hardware. Let's go over the capabilities of the flipper. Okay. This can operate on sub-gigahertz and above gigahertz rating. In fact, I'll just turn it on real quick and we'll run through a feature set of the flipper.
It can do some cool stuff.
It can do some really cool stuff. I use this thing all the time.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So main menu, we've got sub-gigahertz and sub-gigahertz remote. What that means is I can detect certain waves of radio frequencies, record them, and repeat them. That means if you have an RF style remote, if you have, and this is a very specific narrow bandwidth. This is 450 megahertz RF. This is the radio frequency that RF mice operate on sometimes. So if you have a dongle that for a mouse that doesn't operate on Bluetooth, it's probably operating on 900 or 450 megahertz. And both of those, this can read. This can read 125 kilohertz HID tags. It can also read NFC tags. It can also read pet tags, pet tracking tags. So if you've had your pet tagged,
chipped, yeah,
this can read chips. And I've verified both my cat's chips, and I have them saved on here. And so that's really cool. This also has a GPIO for expandability, and you can add Wi-Fi to this. But this doesn't have a lot of capabilities as far as Wi-Fi. This can't break Wi-Fi any better than an Android phone can. It also has infrared. And so it can communicate with infrared devices, and it can spoof infrared devices. And that's probably the easiest one to do in a classroom environment, turning off a TV or a projector or something like that. That's simple enough to do. But we've had that for 25 years. I made myself a TV Begone in like 8th grade. And I would turn off the TVs when the news came on every second period because we had to watch Channel 2 News or whatever the bloody hell that was. Yeah, so I totally did that. And I'm sorry, Mr. Woodford. But this can't steal cars. This can't hack computers. This can record the NFC, the HID or
it can steal your room key.
It can steal your room key. It can steal access control keys. That is something this is capable of doing.
Yeah.
It can't permanently... Oh, and sorry, I continue. What actually... Where's that at? Here we go. The next paragraph. A cell phone owned by another instructor in the classroom also stopped working during this time and had to be replaced.
Yeah, another room. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Another instructor in the classroom. So there was another teacher or a teacher's aide or something like that. And apparently their cell phone was bricked.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, okay, all right.
Not within the capabilities of this.
I mean, okay. I bet in theory it could, if, like you said, it has an attachment port. You would have to put the hugest, biggest attachment, which then is hooked up to a laptop, which is hooked up to all these other things.
What I will tell you is there is an exploit that was very common on iOS related to their Bluetooth stack, that you could initiate a pairing on iOS and basically buffer overrun it and crash the phone.
Okay.
Causing it to reboot.
However, with all of this stuff happening in the classroom, this kid would have had to been like this the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is quite obvious if any teacher, which sounds like there's multiple teachers now in this room, would have been like, what are you doing?
You would think. You would think. And I think there is some merit to the kid was messing with the projector.
Maybe.
The kid,
one item, sure.
Did the kid hack into the computer network? With this? No. This has no IP capability whatsoever. Did this brick a cell phone? No. This can reboot an iOS device, which has since been patched. But no, this cannot brick a cell phone. Did he break into the building? We don't know if he broke into a building or stole access credentials and used them to get access control. That is a capability of this device, but probably not within this frame of work. This is a really cool device. It's capable of a lot of different things. What it's not capable of is 90% of the things that this article is accusing him of. And they quoted this all as fact. And the reason I say they quoted it as fact is court documents say that this happened in the classroom and a cell phone owned by another instructor also stopped working and had to be replaced. As the school was trying to figure out what was happening, administrators learned that a student may have been responsible for the chaos. That's when Moab police were contacted. What police soon discovered was the student was using a device called a Flipper Zero.
But they don't specify what he was using it for. For all we know, that this kid, according to this article anyways, is that school was down. He was like, all right, I'm going to mess with my Flipper Zero because I'm bored.
Yeah.
That's really all it could have been, according to this article. Yeah. And like you do state earlier, was when they do some actual reporting, when they contact someone at Flipper or spokesperson, where they tell you, hey, this is what this device can do. None of what is accused of this kid of doing or what's happened. It says Flipper Zero can generally unlock car doors, modern cars built in the 90s, garage doors, utilizing old roller codes. With cars, it also requires activity blocking and a signal from the owner to catch the original signal, which the Flipper Zero hardware is incapable of doing.
Yeah, this is not really capable of breaking the law in any meaningful way. There are certainly some exploits that you can use on this device. Probably the most well-known one that I know of, and I'm not implicating myself, I've never done this, although I have read these cards before, is have you gone into an arcade within the last 10 years and you don't buy tokens anymore and you don't put quarters into the machine. You buy a card from a machine, and that card is your credit that you use on the machines. That card is not communicating with a central system. Those arcade machines are not networked. What they're doing is they're reading the currency on the card and then rewriting that card to have less currency. So if you have a device that can replicate that you have $10 on a card, and every time you scan it, it tries to rewrite it and say you have $9 on a card. And then you go, no, I have 10. And then you go to the next machine and go, boop, no, I still have 10. Boop, no, I still have 10. Hey, look, free arcade plays.
Yeah.
Are you stealing? Kind of.
Kind of.
You're denying revenue sources, which, yes, is a form of stealing. Kind of. But And I will say the article does a good job of pointing some things out. You know, it can't unlock garage doors and cars because of modern rolling codes. It can read debit cards and credit cards, but it's incapable of cloning those because of the encrypted signals and contactless pay systems are more complicated than that. It's more than just a boop. Oh yes, you're definitely the debit card. No, there's actually some encryption that happens there. There's actually some two-way communication that happens to make sure that this is an authorized device. And if this is not an authorized device, it won't accept it. And so the article does a great job of that. But the top of the article, the first 4, 5, 6 paragraphs are nothing but fear-mongering, and I hate it for that. Because this device is not the villain. This device did not do 90% of what is purported in the beginning of this article. Did he mess with the projector? Maybe. Yeah. He could have turned off the projector. He could have moved a mouse around. Totally.
He could have turned the TV off or something like that. You know, you can do that. That's probably one of the most common things you see is like it'll mess with like a gas station LED sign, a fast food menu item because then now they're all LEDs or TVs. That's 99% of the stuff this thing does.
Mm-hmm.
You can because it can turn into a universal remote.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
but it like you were saying, it's a cool little device because you can do a lot of cool things and it has memory saved. So that's actually the really cool part. Like you said with the pet scanner or the chip readers, your card room. If you don't get a whole lot with your wife and you're really into tech, you'd be like, all right, your wife gets a card and then you just take that. That's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
There could be some maliciousness in that because you could then theoretically sneak into other people's rooms. But that is not what this article is accusing of anyone doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And the other bad thing is the reason why this article is a lot of maliciousness is because all of the facts are at the bottom.
Yeah.
And most people, title, first 2 paragraphs, done.
Yeah.
That's how 90% of most people, that's how they read articles.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. This device, while really cool, isn't really capable of illegal activity, and it was kind of designed to do that. It's not designed to be able to recreate rolling codes so you can open car doors and open garage doors. It's not capable of that. It's not designed to be able to recreate debit and credit cards or steal them or anything like that. There are devices out there that are designed for that specific purpose, and I guarantee you're not buying those on Amazon. This device is not capable of stealing your debit and credit card. This device is not capable of really stealing anything from you. It is capable of exploiting holes in security that should have been patched decades ago. That is HID, proximity keys and things like that are very commonly used. I've used this as my hotel key a couple of times because I thought it was fun. But it was my hotel key to my room that I rented.
I know. Yeah, I was going to bring one to our trip to Vegas, and it was like, we're only going to get one hotel key. I'll bring one.
Right. And now I can open my hotel door. Right.
Yeah. Like, there we go.
So yes, like, do you want to know what I use mine for? I use this as a Bluetooth teleprompter remote for when I'm doing my shows or when I'm doing my videos. It's the best, most comfortable teleprompter remote I own. I've got the 4-way D-pad right here. I've got start and stop on the teleprompter. I can go back in my script. I can increase the speed. I can do all kinds of things. It is a quarter the size of the teleprompter remote that came with my teleprompter software, which is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And this works as a keynote remote on my iPad, and it's fantastic. That's its primary use case. I do have some door proximity keys saved in here for some family members that have some access control things. I do have a couple of... I have both my pet scan IDs in here. Both my pets are chipped, and boop, I scanned them, and I have their keys saved in here. So if there's ever a question or I need to contact a vet, like my cat ran away, if they don't have a registry or can't look it up, I can go, this is my cat. Here, enter this number. I have that saved on here.
Well, that's also the nice part is because it has memory. You can have stored memory on that device. It's got a micro USB chip that if you want to, I believe it also has internal, but it's very small.
It has very small internal storage. This also will do sub-gigahertz remotes, and there's a lot of devices out there that I use every year that use sub-gigahertz remotes. Fog machines, strobe lights, things like that. I manage a haunted house. I'm the general manager of a haunted house here in Oregon, and every year we have smoke machines that we have to set up and make sure they're operating. I have every smoke machine and every RGB light controller saved in my Flipper Zero, so I can carry one controller with me, but leave the controller with the unit that it belongs with. But I can walk through the haunted house and go boop, boop, boop. Okay, they're all on. Cool. Or they're all doing what they should be doing.
Yeah, they're still working this year.
Right. And so, cool. I don't have to dig through it. This saves me time.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. No,
I might have saved my neighbor's remote RF doorbell at one point. Might have done that.
Might have done that. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I scanned like a sales rep's car because we were just like, oh, let's check it out. And it was like, oh, here's the frequency.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the one time he used the frequency.
Yep.
And then, but it's a rotating frequency on his brand new, 2020 Dodge Charger. So like, it rotates. So I got the one-time code.
Yep.
Sure, that's kind of, and it spooked him out because he had no idea what it was. But it was like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
I couldn't start his car though.
No. and I've verified all of my vehicles. I can see the frequency happening. I can capture the frequency off all my key fobs. I can't recreate them because they have a rolling code baked into them. The only way you can reuse a rolling code is if you are capturing and blocking your target device from receiving that code. And then you have a one-time use code.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, I like that KSL did go out. They did interview Flipper. They did, late in the article, say some things that it's capable of. They even called out the iOS Bluetooth stack. Flipper told KSL the device actually helps researchers and hobbyists find insecure hardware around them and can be used to discover vulnerabilities in the iOS Bluetooth stack. I think that's a quote that was out of context there because there was a vulnerability that was discovered in the iOS Bluetooth stack that has since been patched. Something that could have been easily exploited with any Android phone or even a laptop, so there's no need for a dedicated device. And that is absolutely true. You could exploit that from an Android phone. It just happened to be that the Flipper is the one that found that exploit. Yeah.
Yeah, this article just goes a little too hard.
Yeah. I mean, they did a good job at the second half. But the problem is you had me going in the first half, and that's not okay.
Well, yeah, you get any tech enthusiast that knows about this, they piss them off at the peak, and you're like, I don't like this.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you should go out and do crime with your Flipper Zero. I'm saying it's probably not capable of doing 95% of the things in this article.
Yes. No. Again, also, like I stated, even if it could, or the kid was trying, he would be on there constantly, up, down, change mode to this, now go to this frequency, pick up this frequency. He would have had to have either had all of these things pre-saved, which I highly doubt, or constantly on there, and then the go with the person with the phone. He would have had to have been on his phone for the Flipper to even pick up said frequency for said device, instead of, or did the other second teacher just pick up their phone like, oh, my phone's not working now?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. Like you said, it was probably, if he was trying to be cheeky, probably maybe like, hey, I'm messing with the projector in my pocket. Like click, click, click. That's it. And so then the teacher's like, oh, why is the projector plugging in the USB or the HDMI cable back and forth, trying to get it recognized on the PC for a second monitor or something like that?
But then, and again, I've worked with teachers and police and lawyers and doctors and many very intelligent people before, and I have received tickets of nothing is working today because they fat fingered their password, and then they dropped their laptop, and then their phone can't log in because they didn't pay their bill, and then this happened and this happened. Nothing that they reported had anything to do with me, but everything wasn't working. And that's a totally valid thing, but it had nothing to do with this.
Yep. Oh, I know. I've gotten plenty. The internet's down. How are you messaging me via from, a completely outside of the state office?
Yeah.
How was the internet down?
Yeah, you receive an email that says the internet's down from Phoenix.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait, what? Well, this website's down. Wait,
Doubt.
Okay, that's completely different. Hang on a second. Did you go to another website? Yeah, that works. Okay, not my problem. Sorry.
The number of complaints that I've received from organizations when Facebook went down that the internet is down is hilarious.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. I get so many of those. It's like, I hate being like, I want to help. That's the thing. I want to help people.
Yeah.
I like being useful to my organization, being like, okay, here's that. But then there just get some of the dumbest questions.
And again, people are skilled in a number of different areas, but everyone is an idiot somewhere.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Couple more super chats before we get out of here. Novella Hub sends over $5. Trinity Brewhouse Belgian Strawberry in the After Party Craft Computing. I don't think so. Not tonight. No. Please no. Maybe one day, but today is not that day. What do we say to the God of Death? Not today. Nameless Horror sends over another $5. Thank you very much. Ever since I entered attendance for Tommy Drop Tables Monroe, nothing has worked. Oh yeah, good old Bobby Drop Tables. That's what we call him. Maybe you should learn to sanitize your inputs. Patrick sends over $5 with no message. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cool. We did have a couple of other really quick things. Discord seemingly accidentally view-botted its own April Fool's video.
Oh, I mean, that was. I wish we got to that one, but that's like the most April Fool's thing you could even do.
This is hilarious.
And their responses are hilarious as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. If you guys got time, read through this article. I assume it's in the description. It's great.
So, Discord posted an April Fool's video that said, loot boxes are here. And it was about, we're adding loot boxes to Discord. Can you believe it? This is going to be such a value add to all of our well-respected customers. You can get stickers. Haven't you ever wanted stickers?
From
like, it
Discord?
was that kind of tone.
Yeah.
Well, what happened is apparently... according to a number of people, I'll just read this one. Discord managed to create a working YouTube view bot by playing their loot box announcement trailer on a loop in the background of their in-app toast. So essentially, every user on Discord had the video on a loop.
Yep. Oh, I mean, it's great because one thing.
Oops.
I don't know if this is technically real then. Should the views count? Or did Discord create the first, like, legitimate bot to get views?
I guarantee... Well, who knows? YouTube might just go, what the hell, pay them.
Right?
I mean, as good as YouTube customer service is these days. At the time of the article's publication, which was multiple hours ago, Discord's lootbox video had an incredible 628 million views in 17 hours. For context, GTA 6's trailer 1 set the new view record with a 24-hour debut of 93 million.
Yeah. Quite a lot bigger.
7 times the viewership. And I love Discord's response. Oops.
That's perfect. Oops. My bad. Sorry. Oh. I like it. And then the next one was like, so what's next year? Is YouTube going to do some, smash ABT or smash it or like it? Stop pressuring me. I just broke the world record. I have no idea what we're doing next.
I hope this stands.
I really do. Just for the lulz, I hope it stands.
Yeah. I mean, there are still videos that have billions of views. But yeah, like there's an Ed Sheeran song or two that have like 1 or 1.5 billion views. There's U2 songs, of course, that do. There's there's videos with like 900 million views on them and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But
there's
624 in a 24-hour period by accident, that has to stand.
Right, I know. Just for the sheer fact that they're like, we found the problem.
Yeah.
You have to let it stand.
Yeah.
Fix it. We'll fix it on our end. You fix it on your end. But you have to let this one stand.
Yeah.
As like an homage. And pay us for it.
Tekken's director is confused why Americans want Waffle House to be the next stage in Tekken 8.
Apparently he's not on social media.
Katsuhiro Harada is a lifelong creator of fighter games, serving as director on the Tekken series since Tekken 3 and right up to the recent Tekken 8. Harada often has a lot of interesting or helpful stuff to say on social media and is quite responsive to fans. And he's actually really confused as to why they want Waffle House as the next stage. I thought it was a match made in heaven.
Yeah, you do the parking lot, and if you can somehow they break into the window like midway through the fight, perfect.
Yeah. As all Waffle House fights start.
Yeah, and then if you could secretly unlock an employee, even better. Or like a skin to have a character like wear the Waffle House outfit, which I believe is just a visor and an apron. Oh no!
Why should this be a level?
Why? What? Although that was a sweet move if we saw that.
Right? The catch the chair and throw it to the side.
Yeah, that went super viral.
Hell yes.
Yes, and there was a lot more after that, by the way.
That is why.
Yes. But yeah, the fact that she was prepared for that kind of proves something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's see. Scientists turn to AI to make beer taste even better.
Yeah, this one was kind of interesting. There was a Belgian brewery, school, and the professor is...
I'm mad at Belgian breweries right now.
Trying to use AI to improve the flaws in beer with AI. So he used... Now, this was the downside, was he only used 16... references, people, but for 250 different or 22 different styles of beers. A lot of them were commercial, but they did use 180,000 references on rate beer. And the point of this was to throw it into a learning algorithm to then identify the bad taste or the flavor profiles people were getting, to then take those ideas and put them into bad beers to see if he can make them better by adding certain things like gypsum, fruit, different water treatments, things like that. And so far they said that it was lactic acid and glycerin and other types of items into beers to see if it could help make, not great beers to be a little bit better. And so far, results are promising that was improvement. But again, this was only, they used a reference of 22 people for this, but they grabbed a larger sample rating from other people, but then they used, I believe, the same 22 people to be like, add this, is it better? 22 people is not really a whole lot.
It's not a great,
sample
size, right?
But I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I like the concept of trying to just figure that out, and also the kind of went with the whole AI theme that we were using today.
I think it goes a little bit deeper than that, because while 22 people isn't a great representation of taste, they had participants rate 50 different attributes for each of the 250 beers, such as hop flavor, sweetness, acidity, etc. And by tweaking a single ingredient and seeing how it affects individual attributes in beer, that can allow you to reach different flavor profiles. So you could put a recipe into an AI and go, how can I make this beer more acidic based on the ingredients and quantities that I have?
True. Yeah.
Or, how do I make this fruitier, hoppier, or more malty, or someone
without,
said it was way too malty.
Yeah. Without adding more malt, you could add this other ingredient to boost that flavor.
Accentuate, right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's more where they were aiming, not to go like, does this taste better? I think this was what flavor profile was altered by changing the quantity or the actual amount of this one particular ingredient within this beer mixture.
Yeah, I my only problem with this was that with the amount of people, us, flavor is very objective of what did you have that day. Just what you did with your beer. Then you had a cider where your wife was like, oh, this is sour, and you're like, no, this is like candy.
This is candy. Yeah.
For them, what did they have for lunch the previous that before they sampled all these beers?
Yep.
Did they have coffee? Did someone have tea? Did someone have this? And then the next time they sampled those people, what did they have then? Did they have the exact same meal every day so their palate was cleansed? So that small of a sample size of people, I understand the algorithm and I understand the process. I think it just needs to be a lot broader, and you just need a bigger base, data point.
Yeah.
And so that was I like the idea. I really do. We've always said AI is a tool, and this is a great way to using a said type tool.
Absolutely.
But I just think it needed to be bigger. So, and then the fact that they used Rate Beer, which Rate Beer for me is the most beer snobbiest people in the world, to where, and then Untapped is
Untapped is black and white. Yeah, that's my problem with Untapped.
Yeah, exactly. And so you need a merger of the two, essentially.
Yeah.
The people that are so snobby on Untapped, they won't even rate the beer. And the people that are like, I don't care, they'll give it a 0. And then there's the middle people that are like, oh, I just like beer. They'll give it 4s, And so then you end up with a 3.75.
Right. Well, we've been conditioned that star ratings are useless. Because when's the last time you got on Amazon and you found a product and it had 2.2 stars and you went, that fits my exact use case?
Yeah, good point.
Never. You've never bought a 2.2 star product on Amazon. Why would you drink a 2.2 star beer?
Yeah. Good point. Well, you're sitting there, you're thinking going with the crowd, and the rating is the star rating or whatever bottle cap is just average group rating.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, okay, majority of the crowd, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, the people that would use this type of app or buy this type of product are probably my type of people.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, it didn't work for that particular case of scenario. However, do your research, understand what it is. Again, loggers and everything. How often do you go on, let's even go back to Untapped.
Yeah.
Go to Untapped and find a logger, and you're like, how hard is it to find a logger above 3.5? It's really hard to find a logger because most around the beers that we try are IPAs. Yeah. IPAs, stout, barrel-aged stouts, or something, malty. Mm-hmm. Where a lager is a very decent beer. You can go to Europe; that's the most popular beer over there.
Yeah.
But you won't find a 4 lager ever, probably. Too many people sit there and rate it as a 0 because I want bigger beer. I want this, and you have too many conflicting circumstances. So you have to understand what you're going into and what you personally are looking for.
Yeah,
in a beer, and you might even find something new and experience something new with that. Product consumption, like if you're going to go back to Amazon, understand the job or the item that you're trying to find. If you're doing consumer electronics, if you're doing something around the house, you have to understand what that job is a little more. Mm-hmm. Also though, if it does have a 2.5 star rating, do a little bit of research. It's probably a good reason, but it might have that one little aspect. There's actually been quite a few products I've bought before that didn't get the best rating, but it had a feature I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's what I want. I didn't want it for everything else. I wanted it for this one feature. And if I were to buy the really expensive item, I would then have to buy an adapter, which is not integrated for that. So, yeah, whatever. Anyways.
I need 2 ratings per beer. The craft computing, is it good at what it's trying to be? And then how much do I like it score? That's basically the mine versus John version of ratings. Is it good at what it's trying to be? That's what I rate it on. I read the back of the can. I read the description. It has this flavor. It gives you essence of this. It whatever. Does it do that? Does it take me on that journey? Are those flavors present? Are those flavors good?
Look,
That's what
it's hard for the brewer to do something. It's quality. You have to understand what it is.
I understand.
And what it's...
But John will take a beer and go, "That's delicious." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's supposed to have currant in it." And he goes, "I don't care. It's delicious."
Yeah. What I mean, there's parts I agree with your answer, but it's still delicious in what it is.
Yep.
You know. Yes. I am more laxed on that aspect. Sure, I will agree with you.
Good times. Anyway,
Yep.
It is 10 past the hour, and I think that's time to call it a day.
Yep.
This has been episode 328 of Talking Heads. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Drop this video a like. Leave a comment down below. Let us know... what do we want them to say today?
I don't know. If we did do a giveaway, what would you want? What kind of cool ideas?
Yeah.
Styles. You know, give us ideas. I don't know.
It'll probably be a merch giveaway, but what style
category?
of giveaway would you like?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you like I choose the best comment? Would you like
whoever the biggest super chat is? I like that one.
I like that one a lot.
Everyone does $1, 101, 102.
We will start the bidding at. Let's see. Let's keep it on topic. Let us know in the comments. Gosh, I don't know. I'm out of ideas.
Favorite use of AI? What's your favorite Flipper Zero thing to do?
Favorite Flipper Zero feature. What's your favorite Flipper Zero feature?
Here we go. Let us know.
Let us know in the comments. Who knows? Maybe next week we'll do something with a giveaway on that. Anyway. Hopefully new video coming out tomorrow. I've got a video 90% edited. Should be out tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon I will be at PDX LAN along with El Polo Diablo and Rhett is Awesome both. So should be fun. If you're at PDX LAN, please come say hi. Find us. We are in the far corner opposite of the entrance. So if you walk in, look to the opposite corner. I'm the second table from the end, almost right on the aisle. You'll find me. Very, very easy to spot.
I'll hopefully be there for lunch Friday.
And John will be there for lunch Friday. I said you will.
I will.
We will do a craft computing full host lunch on Friday.
There we go. Pictures and all.
Yes.
Drinks on Jeff. That's why I'm coming.
Bearded IT Dad, send over $1 and then $1. I see what you're doing, sir. Anyway, join us every Wednesday night. Thank you all so much for joining us. $1 And as always, we'll see you next week.
You guys.
Cheers, everyone. And we're out.
All right, I got